Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Let's just dig right into it. Stephen A. Smith has, came out and made a lot of interesting statements about Andy Ruiz, after his upset victory over Anthony Joshua. Instead of giving him credit, he went on this tangent. And let's just kind of quote what Stephen A. Smith said. He said, oh my God, I cannot believe this. Explicit Anthony Joshua, holder of 3 belts, gets TKO'd by Butterbean. I mean, some dude named Andy Ruiz Jr. What a disgrace. Joshua looked completely gassed, more fatigued than hurt. Now, how in the hell did you let that happen? How? I'm sick over this for myself, for fight fans, and especially for Deontay Wilder, who should have been the one administering this TKO. I'm so freaking disgusted right now. Now, first of all, before we get into anything else, we have to address Stephen A's statement. Stephen A's statement was that of a casual fan, a novice. We all know that Stephen A. Smith is new to boxing. He doesn't understand the intricacies of boxing. He doesn't understand the levels of the game in boxing, and he doesn't understand fighters in boxing. Stephen A. Smith is a casual boxing fan who's outraged by his own ignorance. Because if you look at it honestly and unbiasedly, Andy Ruiz Jr. in a lot of people's eyes is an undefeated fighter, and now he's a unified world champion. That doesn't happen on accident. This wasn't one lucky punch. This was nothing like that. He has elite level hand speed. He's a very good fighter. The only loss on his resume was a controversial decision to Joseph Parker, who's a damn good fighter himself. So for Stephen A. Smith to be so outraged, he's basing this all on appearance. He's trying to body shame Andy Ruiz Jr. And based on appearance, you're outraged? That makes absolutely no sense. When you look at Deontay Wilder, he said you're disappointed for Deontay Wilder. Why would you be disappointed for Deontay Wilder when he's clearly the one who turned over $100 million deal down to face Anthony Joshua? And a lot of fanboys are coming out and saying, oh, that deal wasn't just for Anthony Joshua. Yes, it was. Because no one in their right mind is going to pay you $18 to $20 million to face Dominic Brazil. No one. That was a throw-in gift for the Anthony Joshua fight. And, people say you would have been trapped in a DAZN deal. 3 fights. You can do that in a year. How is that trapped? That makes absolutely no sense. That's the initial fight, the rematch in Brazil. So right now, had he took that deal, he could have already finished Brazil, and then he would have been on his way to finishing Joshua the first, and he would just have one more fight left. See, this lets you know that these guys are novices to boxing. So at the end of the day, Stephen A. Smith is a straight hater of Andy Ruiz Jr. He doesn't want to recognize a guy's accomplishments based on the way he looks and appearance. That just highlights his own ignorance. If anyone listens to Stephen A. Smith and take him serious in regards to boxing, then you don't know boxing. And, Andy Ruiz clapped back and said, I encourage you to do your research before insulting my career. I know boxing isn't your lane, but if you're going to talk about boxing, please study and know what you're saying. I agree 100%. Andy Ruiz Jr. was spot on. And then Stephen A. Smith came back and said, with all due respect, Ruiz, I'd prefer to return the favor by encouraging you to do your own research, or more simply, to quote accurately. By no means did I insult your career. Never even questioned it. In fact, I specifically recall acknowledging that you're pretty damn good. What I questioned was, A, how you looked physically, in all due respect, as everyone else has. And the fact that a mega fight was ruined because Anthony Joshua got his butt whipped by you. A mega fight isn't just about the fighters themselves, but people who are actually salivating. Let's just be honest and unbiased, Stephen. Based on your comments, the first thing you said was, he looks like Butterbean, by a guy who looks like Butterbean. So yes, you tried to body shame him based off his looks. But when you basically go in and disrespect someone based off their looks, you're kind of throwing shade at their career too, because if you don't look at it, you're saying that, oh, you're only good as you look. And that's the most ignorant statement, because Luis Ortiz isn't the best looking specimen in boxing, but he's a really good boxer. Same with Andy Ruiz Jr. They don't give Andy Ruiz the credit for whatever reason. I don't know what bias or agenda that these guys have, but Andy Ruiz winning is a good thing for boxing. It's a good thing for Andy Ruiz, and it shows you that anything can happen in boxing. Andy Ruiz is a better fighter than most people gave him for, and that just highlights his own nature of being a casual fan, because he said so did everyone else. You're too worried about what everyone else thinks instead of doing your own independent research. Had you actually knew boxing and you weren't a novice, you would have known that Andy Ruiz was a legitimate threat. Had you actually knew boxing, you would have knew that this fight could have always went either way. At the end of the day, Anthony Joshua was a favorite for a reason, because we've never seen Anthony Joshua look like this before. We've never seen this happen, but we all know that styles truly do make fights. And at the end of the day, Stephen A. Smith doesn't know enough about boxing to be taken seriously. Stephen A. Smith, is trying to be a Wilder protector at this moment, and in hindsight saying, oh, that should have been Wilder administrating that beat down. At the end of the day, how do you even know Wilder could beat Anthony Joshua? Because at the end of the day, Deontay Wilder was rocked by Eric Molina. Anthony Joshua is still a good fighter. Andy Ruiz is a good fighter. And any fighter on any given day can beat Deontay Wilder because of his poor fundamentals. These are things that I've never seen mentioned or quoted by Stephen A. Smith, but you want to quote how Andy Ruiz looks. That makes absolutely no sense. You didn't mention Andy Ruiz's hand speed. You didn't mention his good fundamentals. You didn't mention his defense. You didn't mention his heart to get up from the canvas. There's a lot that he didn't mention because Andy Ruiz could have been out early in the fight. He was the first one dropped. But you didn't mention that he had the heart, the courage, and the willpower, the warrior mentality to get up off the canvas. That is a lot that was overlooked. Because at the end of the day, you have to be honest and unbiased. But once again, unbiased as always, it's the IBFP. Please share, like, and you must absolutely subscribe.